I did it, guys. I finally did it. In today's crypto cruise, I'll have to tell you guys what I bought, which crypto in particular that I finally added to my own personal portfolio. I've been dreading this day, and it finally happened. So, welcome to a special crypto cruise. So I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to talk about what happened with this past week with Thanksgiving and what happened with the volatility that we saw with Bitcoin, and also with a lot of the alts. And I'll be reviewing what I'm driving today, a 2024 Dodge Durango 392. All right, so what happened with Bitcoin and with alts in general? So a lot of things happened. First of all, most of you guys are from the US, but some of you guys are not. So maybe you're not familiar with Thanksgiving, but obviously it's a national holiday here. It's a turkey day where families get together and have a meal together, and obviously a lot of us are off, and a lot of us are traveling, and Wall Street was closed, and there's obviously a Black Friday. A lot of people go shopping, all this stuff, right? So we saw Bitcoin right beforehand fall to as low as $90,000, right? It was the first time in a while where we actually saw Bitcoin show some weakness. Now, when I say that lightly because, quite honestly, we've seen weakness before. Okay, plenty of it this year. It seems like a lot of people have forgotten what weakness looks like. We have seen 20%. 30% dips. Okay, yes, this year we have seen a 30% dip, and we have seen plenty of 15% dips. But we've ever since September hit, we've had it good. We've seen this gradual rise upwards, and it's been pretty steady since then. So I think this last dip, people just we're not expecting it, but the funny thing is, ever since we got to the 90s, people totally forgot the concept of a dip or something. We went, and I had to remind you guys, or a lot of people that were panicking, that, hey, the beginning of the month, we were still in our 60s. Today's the last day of November. People forgot. We started out November in the 60s, in the mid to low 60s. Once we shot up to the 90s, it was like every day we were gaining $1,000 every day, right? Until we hit that magical 99,800. And, at some point, we had to come down. We had to consolidate. I even said on air many times, I wish we would stay below 100,000 for a while so that the alts would actually gain strength. And that's exactly what happened. But we had that little dip right before Thanksgiving, right? And it made sense. People were going off. Wall Street was getting off, and also made sense from the perspective of there was just too many longs. Way too many people were making too much money, throwing crazy longs, and it's like a reset, right? And that's what happened. And then surprisingly, a lot of people got bearish, and people were getting all freaked out about it and stuff like that. But it was a perfect opportunity to buy the dip. Even though, again, at the beginning of the month, we were at $60-something thousand. Buying a $90,000 really isn't a gift if you think about it. But you know what? It's the only one we're going to get, because right afterwards, what happened? We bounced right back up. That very day, we bounced back up to 92 something, and the day afterwards we bounced right back up to 96, and then we bounced up even higher to 98. Now we're hovering around 96, 97, right? So yeah, I mean, the moral of the story is, guys, Bitcoin's not gonna get any cheaper. There are still some I'm hearing that think that we're gonna fall back to the 70s or something. Like, I just don't think it's going to happen. Wall Street is not gonna let it happen. Every day I'm sharing stories with you guys about more adoption happening, more companies embracing Bitcoin, adding to reserves, and countries and states, and possibly like Microsoft adding next month. It's not going to stop. Sailor and others keep on buying more. You know, if there are dips, great. If there's a real 30% dip, that's going to bring it to 70,000, which I don't think is going to happen. But if it happens, great. Take advantage of it. But I really don't think we're going to see these monstrous dips going forward. So if we do see any, take advantage, right? That's really how I see it. And those of you guys that have retrained your brain to think that way, great, because honestly, that's the best way to do it. And if you don't have money and you're like, okay, I'm out of powder, I can't buy any, George, well then, okay, just don't panic. Just hold it. That's it. You guys been holding for how many years? So just stick with it. Just stick with it. Don't panic. That's it. But you know what? Along with that Bitcoin dip, you guys saw that the alts dip too. The alts have been going up as well, and they took a breather when the Bitcoin dipped down about that 8%, 9%. Guess what? The alts dipped. They dipped a little more. They dipped around maybe like 12 to 15%. That was a good pickup point, because prior to that point, from September all the way up to November, a lot of them went up like 40, 50, some went up over 100%. So that 15% dip was a good buying opportunity. And some have continued forward this last week, even more so, right? So a lot of you guys been holding your alts for quite some time. Great, they're coming back, but a lot of them are still underwater. They're not back to their all-time high. So there's still plenty of DCA opportunities, right? So continue to do so. I am doing so, and of course, I started out this video saying I'm dreading this day. I bought something that I didn't think I would buy. I'm still getting to that, so make sure you're still watching. But yeah, we're seeing a resurgence in a lot of alts, right? This is also kind of what I expected. I shared with you guys back in October and even in September. A lot of you guys were starting to give up on alts. You were asking me, George, should I be converting my alts to Bitcoin? Like, you know, I just don't see anything happening with the alts. I don't see, you know, I only see Bitcoin getting strength. Should I convert? Are we going to have the altcoin season? And this is exactly what I said. Once Bitcoin forms a new high, once we start getting to 100 or breaking 100, we're going to see that retail confidence come back. And we're going to get that mini altcoin season, and that's exactly what we're seeing. This mini altcoin season we're seeing right now, this kind of like resurgence with alts, isn't as good as the one that we saw in March and April. If you go back to what we saw in March and April, it was actually a lot more broader and fierce. We actually had a lot more pumping happening in March and April. But there are a few particular ones that have done better now versus before. But for majority of alts, they actually had higher highs in March and April. But we're getting closer and closer to that point. So I do think, as today's the last day of November, I do think in December, majority of alts will reach their prior March and April high and possibly break through. And I think if we continue to move forward in 2025, and I do think we will, with Bitcoin and entire market, alts will start picking up steam. So that is fantastic, right? And that's to be expected, right? Retail is getting excited, and also I've mentioned about this since last week. Whales are starting to drop their money in. They have hundreds of billions of stable coins just sitting there, and you're seeing it, just like random chains from 2021, random projects jumping. But there are a few particular sectors I'm noticing that are getting very hot. That's going to be my topic for tomorrow, my Sunday walk video. That's if I could actually walk, because right now where I am is 16 freaking degrees Fahrenheit. It is so cold. You know, even to film this is very, very hard. Like I only stood outside for like 5 seconds and I had to get back into the car. So I don't even know if I could do a Sunday walk video, guys, to be honest. But my topic for tomorrow will be certain sectors that I'm eyeing that are doing particularly better than others that I'm going to be loading up more on. So tomorrow's Sunday walk video will be very, very important. But yeah, so I think going into 2025, there will be certain sectors that will be hotter than usual, but overall I think everything's going to start going up as the entire crypto market goes up. So overall, I think it's looking pretty darn good. And of course, everything's led by Bitcoin. And I think, of course, Bitcoin's going to go up. Like I said, it's not going to stop. It's just going to get better from here on out. All right. So all this is fantastic. So it's looking good. So as for myself, you know, going back to me, right? What did I do? What did I pick up yesterday that I haven't picked up in a very, very, very long time? I don't think I've had this in my portfolio for at least 4 years, 5 years maybe. So I finally did. Those of you guys that follow me on X, which you all should. If you don't, you should, because I have really good info on there. Like I really have like really good info, like breaking news, breaking charts, breaking trends, everything on my Twitter. So if you don't follow it, please do so. The link is in the description. So yesterday I tweeted out, I showed a screenshot of a major purchase and I did it. So yesterday I purchased a large amount of XRP. That's right. And I know a large number of you guys have been watching me for years, and you know, a large number of you guys think that I've been trolling XRP and XRP Army for a large number of years. But you continue to watch me because you still like me. But yeah, I finally did it. I added a large amount of XRP to my portfolio. Now, let me just say a few things about this. So there's a couple things to this that I'd like to address. Number one, there's probably some of you guys that are truly XRP, diehard XRP guys, and you're coming here to gloat, saying, George, I told you so, I'm right. You know, look at those fat green candles and stuff. Well, first of all, I'll address you guys. Congratulations. You guys have, I've always said this, the greatest diamond-crusted hands on the planet. So you've been holding and DCAing all along since 2018. From 377 all the way down to like 30-something cents and back up. Congratulations. You guys deserve it. Pat yourself on the back, because there is no other project that's had a high formed in 2018 that hasn't been surpassed since then. So congratulations. That I will give it to you guys. I'll relent and give it to you guys. So that's the first thing I want to address. Second audience that I want to address are people that may be thinking, well, George, you told us you didn't like it, so why are you changing now? So this is the most important thing. Number one is, yes, I never liked Ripple's business model, and I still don't, but things have changed, obviously. From this perspective, the first thing is, the high was made in 2018, right? Since then, the landscape has changed vastly. In 2018, everything was a copycat of Bitcoin. Everything else, besides maybe Ripple and Stellar at that time, right? Everything else was just a fork of Bitcoin, a copy of Bitcoin. So there wasn't much, there wasn't even smart contracts back then. So everything else was just basic copycat of Bitcoin, was completely worthless in terms of like holding. And think about everything else that you could have held since 2018 to now that have gained in appreciation. So if you felt like, well, I should have held XRP, well, just think about this. Had you held on anything else since then, like for example, Solana, or even Cardano, or BNB, or even Tron, or Ton, or anything else, you would have made a ton more, a shitload more money, right? And now that you have, you could use that money to buy XRP. So it's never too late, right? Because XRP is still less than half from its all-time high. So this is what I've been talking about. It's never too late to make a shift. You always bet on the fastest horse first, then you take your profits and put it into something else. Even Bitcoin, right? Back in 2017, Bitcoin was still 20,000. Look at where it is now, 90 something thousand. And it's gone up more than 100%. It's up 200, 300%, right? So even if you bought Bitcoin and held it since 2017, you made more than XRP, and now you could put those profits into XRP. You still be up, right? So this is what I'm saying. So you're still better off holding Bitcoin than XRP, and now you can put your profits in XRP. So you're still better for it for not holding XRP. So for those of you guys that haven't been holding XRP since 2018, well, now you have your opportunity, and you have plenty of time to get into it. So that's the second thing I want to say. And the third thing I want to say is, here are my reasons why I think it's a good time to buy XRP, and I don't think it's too late by any means. Number one, I was looking at the market cap, and this is strange because I guess XRP has been inflating for quite some time. But when XRP hit its all-time high in 2018, which is ridiculous, of like 377 or something, at that time it surpassed Bitcoin's market cap briefly. I remember it, and I hated it. I'm like, this is so ridiculous that XRP actually broke Bitcoin's market cap. And I looked at it. It was 120 billion. Okay, so I guess the token supply at that point was a lot less than what it is now, because if you look at the market cap now, it's close to 120 billion already. It's like 110. So obviously there's a lot more tokens now than before. But still, nevertheless, 120 billion at the time. Bitcoin's market cap at the time was 100 billion. So obviously there was something wrong there, right? But again, you look at now, Ripple's or XRP's market cap is 110 billion. That's very little compared to everything else. Bitcoin's market cap is 2 trillion. Even Ethereum's market cap is at 400 plus billion. So to put things in perspective, even if Ripple doubled where it is now, it's at like 190 or something right now, right? So even if it doubled, let's just say it hit $4, okay? That would only give it a market cap of like 200 billion, 220 billion or whatever. Is that unreasonable? No, it'd still be at like half of Ethereum. Let's say it equaled Ethereum and it went to 400 something billion. That would give it like, what? $6 market cap, $6 price point, $7 price point to equal Ethereum. Is that unreasonable? In today's market with FOMO, even though it doesn't have nearly as much going on as Ethereum, let's be honest, it doesn't have DeFi and all this stuff, but you know, with today's FOMO and with these diamond crusted hands of XRP Army, is that possible? $7? Sure, that could happen. It's still nowhere near the market cap of Bitcoin. So I'm just like looking at this, I'm just thinking about it, right? Unlike 2018 when it surpassed the market cap of Bitcoin, it's a different ballgame today, right? And that's assuming Ethereum's market cap is not going any higher. That's assuming Ethereum just stays at where it is at, right? So I'm just looking at it from this perspective with FOMO and with the market getting bigger. Hey, Ripple could easily hit $7, $10 and still be within reason of the market cap of other big top 10 chains, right? So that makes it pretty attractive at today's prices. So that's number one. It's within reason, because everything else have gotten so much bigger over the last 6 years, you know, while Ripple has stayed suppressed. So that's number one. And number two, obviously the fundamentals have changed. Now that the SEC is being revamped, there's going to be a new chair and Gensler's gone, and the US is going to be a lot more pro-crypto. That's going to change the landscape a lot. Okay, a lot. First of all, SEC chair is going to be more friendly. Number two, we're hearing about how Trump may, you know, this is speculation, of course, but Trump may make it so that, you know, there may be no taxes on crypto assets, or no capital gains taxes on crypto spent, you know, in the US. You know, there's like rumors like that being swirled around. That may be very favorable for crypto companies in the US. You know, there's like stuff like that being swirled around. That's why a lot of crypto from crypto projects in the US are starting to do very well. You know, there's little stuff like that. And plus, Ripple itself has bigger plans. It just came out recently that the South District of New York, I think they're about to approve Ripple stablecoin, which they have been talking about for a while. Ripple themselves wants to do an IPO, which, whether or not, I don't know if that's going to help XRP, honestly, you know, because then a lot of big investors will just buy the stock rather than XRP, but as investment. But still, you know, it'll give them a lot more money, and if they have a lot more money, then they may not have to sell XRP anymore. But still, they're going to have an IPO, and they're going to have a stable coin, which also helps them generate more money. So, I mean, they have big plans themselves, right? They're already loaded. That's how they were able to fight the SEC, and I've applauded them for that for a long time. I said that. They're the only company, probably, that had the money to fight the SEC. So, they have big things going on, and they have said that they want to introduce like smart contracts. They want to introduce more like you know, DEXs and more like dApps, more things on their chain. You know, of course, they're still pushing things, you know, for like banks and so forth, to be using their chain, but still, you know, there are things that's still happening. It's just not as prevalent as other chains, because they've been fighting SEC for a long time. So who knows? Maybe they're gonna get a lot done this year. So anyways, so the second thing is, or third thing is, I guess number one, their market cap is within reason. Number two, the landscape, I guess the what do you call it? The U.S. landscape, I guess, is changing. The ruling, the legality landscape, I guess, is changing. The framework is changing. And number three is the fundamentals is changing. So overall, I think all these things are good enough reasons for me to hold XRP. That's the reason why, right? So that's why I finally added XRP to my portfolio. So I don't know. So you take that how you want, right? But I'll applaud the XRP army that's been holding for so long, right? So congratulations to you all. If you want to brag about holding for 6 years, congratulations. For those of you guys that may have felt like, well, you missed out, nah, you didn't. You made plenty of gains with others, even with Bitcoin. So if you want to jump in, great. If you think like, yeah, no, I don't like XRP, I'm going to stay away from it, that's perfectly fine. You know, there's plenty of others. There's thousands of other coins. There's plenty of others to invest in. But for me personally, I think there's good enough reason to add in. But you know what I said about like adding American-based crypto projects? There are a lot. Like Cardano's been doing very well. It hasn't been doing as well as XRP recently, but Cardano is doing very well. Hedera is doing well. Recently, I've noticed like Algorand is doing very well. And there's several other American-based projects that are doing well too. And I'm gonna start looking at some others, but I think it's because of the landscape, the legality, landscape, the framework in the US is gonna be changing with the SEC, the CFTC, and the Treasury and the Fed. Everything is going to be changing in 2025, and I think overall it's just going to be a lot more pro crypto in 2025. So all these companies, US-based crypto companies, could be doing very well next year. So yeah, keep your eye on them, right? So tomorrow I'm going to be sharing more about like which sectors that I think will be doing a lot better in 2025 as well. All right, that's it. I rambled a lot. This is a long video. As for this car, I'm not going to say too much about it because actually, unfortunately, this car is discontinued. 2020, this is a 2024 Dodge Durango 392. Dodge Durango has been out for a while. 2025, I believe, will be the last year. But this special edition, this 392, is discontinued. It's a special V8 edition of the Durango. I don't know why Car and Driver does not like the Durangos. I particularly like the Durango. Josh and Steve, who's running my Drivers Only channel, they like the Durango. If you drive this Durango, you'll realize it's a really good SUV. The exterior look doesn't look bad. It does kind of look dated because it's been out for a while, but the SRTs, the V8s, even the V6s, I think they look decent. The V8 and the 392 look better because they have a more aggressive front end, a big hood scoop. There's some flashier decals, but you got bigger brake calipers that stand out. But overall, it's not a bad looking SUV. It sounds great. It has a big V8, which gives you plenty of acceleration. This 392 gives you 475 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque, made it to 8-speed transmission, 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. It sounds great. It gives you plenty of grunt, and there's very, very little SUVs out there that gives you a V8 sound and thrust like this SUV. Everything's now like hybrid or turbo i4 or something like wimpy like that, and it's just it's just different. It's old school, and it feels good and it drives good, but like everyone's moving away from this, and it kind of sucks. That's why like Car and Driver rates this like mid-size SUVs from 1 all the way to like 30. This is like ranked number 25, and I don't get it. It shouldn't be. This should be in like at least the top 10. They put it all the way in the bottom at 25, and I don't get it. It's not that bad. It actually has really good throttle feel. The steering is awesome. Love the steering feel. Love the steering wheel itself. The leather, the thickness, the steering wheel feels great. The steering also feels great. Love the visibility. It's nice and quiet in here. The seats are great. Love the contour of the seats. They hold me in. The Alcantara, the stitching. You get 3 rows in here too. You get 6 passengers. This is a really good SUV. It's really nice. I don't know the problem. I don't know why people do not like it, or at least Car and Driver doesn't like it. But anyways, Dodge and Ram and Chrysler and Fiat, they're all in trouble. Stellantis, they can't sell any cars right now. Okay, their numbers are so horrible, really, really, really horrible. So if you go look at their dealerships, they're selling all their cars below MSRP, like really, really below MSRP. 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 below MSRP. So if you want to get a new car right now, you could get one from any of these brands, like really below MSRP, and get like 0% financing. It's not a good time to be a car manufacturer, but it's a good time to be a crypto guy. Good time to be a Bitcoin holder. So if you're Bitcoin rich, you could get a car pretty easily. But this is a nice car. I guess it's a little expensive. I think this one is like going for like the high, like low to high 70s. This is a 2024 model, so I'm pretty sure they still sell it if you could find it. But most, they're transitioning to the 2025s, and you could get a Hellcat. But those the Hellcats are like 6 figures, which isn't much faster than this. It's just too much power to put to the ground. So this does 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. The Hellcats do 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, 0.5 faster. And you're paying 40 grand more. Is it really worth it? Not really. This one is actually really nice. I mean, you're not getting more with the Hellcat. Yes, you're getting, 300 more horsepower, but you're not getting much more speed. And inside, interior and everything, the exterior look is the same. You're getting like the same seats, and the exterior looks the same. So you might as well just save some money and get a 392, because this is a really nice Durango. The suspension a little bit harsher, but honestly, I'm driving around. It's not that bad. It feels like more or less like just like any other SUV I've driven. Fuel economy is coming a little bit worse, 17 miles per gallon overall, versus some of the other modern crossovers that are probably like more like 22 miles per gallon overall, because they're using some kind of hybrid technology or something. But again, they're not nearly as fun. They're not nearly as good sounding. I would much rather drive this than I don't know, a Mazda CX-90 or something like that, which Car and Driver loves, but like it's not nearly as good. The infotainment system on this is great. All the button layouts is great. You get all the modern stuff like wireless charger and heated steering wheel, heated seats, ventilated seats, like all the usual stuff that you need, you get. So again, I don't know why there's all this hate on this car. It's actually a really good SUV. Again, and it's plenty big too. It's not as wide as like some of the bigger guys, like the new Pilot or the Telluride. They're like wider, but this is just as long. But again, you get a nice big V8 in here, which you just don't get in other SUVs. All right, that's it for this review. I know this is like a half-assed one, but because they don't even sell this car anymore. Like, you can't even get a 2025 version, so that's why it's like it's almost no point. But if you do like V8s, go look at a V8 Durangos. They're pretty nice. This is a 392 one, so the regular V8 Durangos, they do sell still. I think they're like more like 350 horsepower. They're probably not gonna be as fun as this one, but still, they're probably gonna be pretty good. These Durangos overall are nice cars. They're nice overall. All right, guys, smash it a like, subscribe to the channel, enjoy the rest of your day. Crypto is still looking pretty darn fantastic. And look forward to my Sunday walk video tomorrow. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.